Hello friends, Operator Starsky with a daily update from Kiev, Ukraine. Today is day 474 of the cowardly and still undeclared full-scale Russian war in Ukraine. The evacuation continues in the area of flooded Kherson. Meanwhile, the Russian terrorists keep shelling the evacuation teams. This Sunday, 26 cases of shelling were reported in the area. Unfortunately, we have numerous civilians killed and wounded due to the Russian fire on civilian population. Among them was Tetiana Hryshko. While saving her grandparents, she got shelled by the Russian terrorists and died together with her unborn baby. The horrible silence of the world's peacekeeping institutions regarding the Russian terrorist act at the Kakhovka Dam predictably led to more crimes. Thus, it's reported that the Russian terrorists blew up another dam south of Velika Novosilka while retreating from the advancing Ukrainian troops. As a result, the Russian terrorists flooded the banks of the Mokry Yali river trying to stop the Ukrainian defenders. Meanwhile, in the past 24 hours, the armed forces of Ukraine liberated 5 villages from the Russian terrorists: Makarivka, Neskuchne, Blagodatne, Storozheve, and Novodarivka. Just to remind you, it took Russians several months to capture a single village of Solidar north of Bakhmut. Great victory for the Russian army. According to the British Ministry of Defense, the Russian terrorists were losing 1 soldier for every 48 centimeters of Bakhmut, or roughly 19 inches, and this continued for almost a year. According to the pro-Russian talking Anas, also known as Scott Ritter, Ukraine lost between 300,000 and 1 billion defenders in Bakhmut because in his fantasy world, the motivated defending troops always take bigger casualties than the unmotivated, under-equipped attackers. Probably that's why Russians like him so much. Of course, everybody's laughing, but if Sun Tzu was alive, it would definitely make him cry. Meanwhile, in Storozheve, the Russians lost a company of troops, dead and wounded. Also, 4 Russian invaders were captured alive by the advancing Ukrainian defenders. We received quite a lot of footage from the front lines these days showing the process of derussification of the area by the Ukrainian Leopard tank. Also, Ukrainian defenders examining the Russian positions in the liberated areas, and these kick-ass lads posing next to 5 destroyed Russian armored vehicles. The Russian Senator Sergei Tsekhov named the only acceptable conditions to negotiate with Ukraine. According to this individual, the negotiations will only be possible if Ukraine donates Mykolaiv, Kharkiv, and Odessa oblasts to Russia. Only then will Russia consider negotiation. Again, all the excuses that you've heard previously to justify the full-scale Russian war against Ukraine, all the biolabs, combat dogs, and mosquitoes, killing people in Donbass, Zionist Nazi Ukrainian gay satanists, NATO expansion. Finally, the Russian officials are being completely honest. The Russians simply want new territories. Meanwhile, the occupied Ukrainian civilians in Melitopol were given the Russia's ribbons to celebrate the day of the so-called Russia. And of course, they've had a proper celebration because nobody wants Russia's invaders here in Ukraine and nowhere else outside of the terrorist federation. My name is Operator Starsky. As always, be safe.